When it comes to investing, what's the best approach for helping people manage their let's say they've got great cash flow, and even in that scenario where they're getting anxious about getting more cash flow, what is the general framework that you help people invest with? Like, what are the type of assets that you're helping people put money into, and what's the aim of the game in that sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, before we even have the investing conversation, I always highlight like you've really got to have control over your money first. And that's why taking yourself on a money date is so important, because otherwise, what can happen is you get all excited by investing, you put your money in the stock market, or you put your money into whatever investments you're looking at. And then something happens, life happens, and you're not set up with your other personal finances to manage that. And so then you're forced to pull your money out of your investments. And that can happen at the
Mm,
worst time possible, which I've seen for so many people. The global financial crisis is a great example where people were like over leveraged. They were investing, they weren't managing their finances well. And so they were taking on too risky bets. And so then they're forced to take their money out at the worst time, make massive losses, be completely financially traumatized by the whole event, and never invest again. So I'm like, let's make sure that your personal finances are set up, that we're going to be looking at your savings, that you're going to have proper savings in place. You're going to have like an FU fund, or like your emergency fund, whatever words you want to use for it, to ensure that worst case scenario, income disappears tomorrow, you're good. Or you're not going to have to pull your money out of your investments. Like, you're good. Let's make sure that your debt is covered. That it's like, it's good. You're not like drowning in credit card interest rate debt and also still trying to invest. Like, that is not the approach to take. So I'm always really cautious before I say, let's go invest, is to say, let's look at your finances first. And then once you're set up and you're in a solid financial foundation, like you've got the house together, right? Your finances are good. Then we can go invest, actually build your wealth. But it is by no means step one. And I want to be really, really clear on that, because it can end in disaster very quickly.
that's a
However,
great point.
when you are ready to start investing,
Mhm,
um, what I like to use are very, very simple instruments. So looking at ETFs, looking at index funds.
mhm.
The majority of investors neither have the interest, in my experience, the time, or really, I suppose, the skill to be able to fully assess a stock and its potential performance in the long run, to a degree that they're not going to put themselves in a very risky situation and end up losing a lot of money. So, stock picking can feel very exciting. We all wish we picked Apple back in 2008. We all wish, that there's so many stocks we wish we had jumped in on early, right? But that's the benefit of hindsight. And the reality is that, back in 2008, when we were looking at Apple or Amazon, they were selling for about $2.80 a share. Now, that should tell you everything you need to know about how the market viewed those companies. Is no one probably really thought that these were going to be the unicorn companies that they were. They were very, very cheap to buy, which reflects their valuation at the time. Right? So it's not like everybody knew Apple was going to be a runaway. And anyone who says, oh, absolutely knew it, you never know, right? Because that's the nature of the world we live in. There is no absolute certainty. So taking an approach of investing in funds like index funds, ETFs, just completely reduces your risk when it comes to investing. It takes so much of the selection bias out of it, and it gives you so much diversification that you can set up a really healthy long-term strategy that will still provide good returns. You're beating inflation, you're still allowing your money to grow, and it can help you get to where you want to be long term. But again, it's why we bring it in with the manifestation process, because there's a part where you want to bring in more money in the now. And then there's a part where you grow your money, but it's a long-term strategy. I'm not promising to 10x your money in 12 months, because that's either going to be a scam of some sort, or it's going to involve incredibly high risk, right? High risk, high return. It's a correlation there. And for the most people, they're not able to manage that level of high risk, or it could potentially financially ruin them.